In this video, we are going to be taking a look at how to go about creating some artwork here in Inkscape for a Lightbox. Now, of course, we realize that there is a really useful tool within Bambu Studio that allows us to make Lightboxes pretty quickly and easily. And really, our focus here is just to show you how you can go about honing your Inkscape skills. And once you really know what you're doing in Inkscape, it is a breeze to create artwork here in Inkscape for our 3D models. To me, it really is the easiest method of going about creating a 3D model. So what I want to do here is not really give you a step-by-step tutorial per se. I want you to just look over my shoulder and watch me create a Lightbox artwork and then turn it into a 3D model and just see how quickly we're able to do it once we really understand the workflow. All right, so let's go ahead and import the artwork in question here. I hit Control I, and there is my artwork. Okay, and then I'm going to hit the R key on my keyboard for a rectangle, S key for my selection tool, Shift select the image, right click here and choose Set Clip. Okay, and then right click again and crop the image to the clip, and then right click again, and we're going to trace that bitmap. There's our trace. We'll go ahead and hit apply, and just that quickly, we have a vectorized version of our logo. Now, what I'd like to do is go ahead and resize my logo now to 240. That's about as big as you can go on a build plate. Yes, technically our build plate for our Bambu A1 will hold 256, but I like to go 240. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and break this apart. So we're going to go ahead and go to Path and choose Break Apart. All right, and then we're going to take just this very outer piece here. Let's give it a different color, and then let's go ahead and go to Path and Simplify. Just that one piece. When you double click on it, you can see now it just has a few notes there, and that's exactly what we're hoping for. So now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go Shift End, and that will push that to the bottom of my layer stack. And then I'm going to take all of my Davis, Control K, and then I'm going to take all of my lumber and hardware, Control K, and then I'm going to take this piece and Control K. So we'll go back to our layers palette. I like to start naming everything so I can very easily see what I'm working with. That's our back plate. That's Davis. Okay, and then that is lumber. And then finally our lines. Okay. Now, what I like to do is I like to turn off the items that I'm not using. So for right now, let's go ahead and dispose of all of our text. We don't need to worry about that right now. We do need to duplicate our backplate, so Control D, and then now we don't need our backplate anymore either. Okay, we need a duplicate of the duplicate, so let's go ahead and Control D again, and then we're going to give it a different color here, and then we're going to go over to my extension gallery. I have some special offset tools that I've developed for Inkscape. I'm going to Control click on number 2, and what that's going to do is that's going to create the boundary of our light box, the actual box itself. So you'll see here, see now we have this and we have this. That's a 2mm offset. So we're going to select this one, shift select this one, and Control minus. Okay, and so now we have that whole cut there. And so this is going to become our sides. Okay, so there's our sides, and we're going to slide that down just above the back plate. Okay, now we're going to need something called a flange. So this is a kind of a special situation. So for our flange, let's go ahead and duplicate our back plate. Now let's go ahead and turn off sides, and that duplicate back plate, let's go ahead and turn that on. Okay, now what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to firstly offset this. So we're going to go back to my extension gallery. And again, we're going to Control click because we're offsetting to the inside this 2.1. It's just a special situation here. I didn't have it selected, my bad. Special situation here where we need that offset to be 2.1 millimeters. Okay, now it shrunk just slightly. Now we need to duplicate that, and now we need to offset that 2 millimeters. So again, Control key because we want to offset to the inside. We'll give it a different color here. You only have to hold the Control key down until you double click on the extension, and then you don't have to keep holding it. Just takes a second, and so now you can see we have our offset again here, and we're going to select both pieces again, and again we're going to hit Control minus, and now this becomes a flange. Okay, so this is how I usually do it. We have our back plate, and then our back plate is also going to be our front plate. So let's go ahead and duplicate that, and this is going to become our front plate now. This will all make more sense when we get over into Bambu and show you how all this works. Okay, so this is usually how I do it. Back, sides, flange, front, text. Okay, so now we can go ahead and turn everything on, because believe it or not, folks, we are done with our Lightbox creation. See how easy that is? It is really that easy. So let's go ahead and just save this, Control S, and let's hit the desktop here, and let's call it Davis Lightbox. Okay, and there you go. Save. Okay. All right, so now that we have all of our Lightbox elements created, we can pop over to Bambu Studio and put it all together into a slick looking 3D model. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so here we are inside Bambu Studio. We're looking to take our artwork that we just created in Inkscape and turn it into a Lightbox model here inside Bambu Studio. Now, I'm using Bambu Studio in this video example, but really any slicer, you can follow along and work the same type of workflow here. So let's go ahead and Control I, and remember we called it Davis Lightbox. So there's Davis Lightbox. And then we could do is take a look at what's happening here. So what's going to happen here is when you import your SVG, it's going to come in as an assembly, which is really important when we go to 3D print. We might talk more about that here a little bit later. But so it comes in as an assembly, and it comes in 10 millimeters thick, and it comes in, all of our parts come in as one color. So what I like to do is I like to go in and specify all my parts here. So for example, this first part will be our back plate. Okay, and then we can go down to our sides, and then we can go down to our flange, and then we could go down to our front plate, and then we can go down to Davis, and then lumber, and then finally lines. See how quick and painless that was? All right, so now we have everything named. Now what we can do is go through and figure out colors. So the back plate will be sides, flange, all that will be black. Davis, lumber, and lines, let's just all make that color number 2. And let's make all of that with our thickness here on our scale tool, 1 millimeter thick, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll decide on our other pieces what's going to be what here. So for our back plate here, let's go ahead and make that 2 millimeters thick. And let's move this down to the Z of 1. Okay, that will make our back plate sit on our build plate. And the reason it's on the build plate is because our back plate is 2 millimeters thick, and so we always divide that in half. To sit on our build plate, divide whatever the thickness is, divide it in half. So that's why it's 1. Now the sides are 5 millimeters thick currently. You can see that, or excuse me, 10 millimeters thick currently. But let's make that, usually on my light boxes, I like to make them 50 millimeters, which is 2 inches deep. That gives us enough room for lights. And if we are using a battery operated light, it gives us enough room for our battery operated light box. All right, so we'll go with 50 for that. And then our flange, I make those 12. So therefore, that Z height needs to be 6. Okay, and then our front plate here, our front plate will be 2 millimeters thick. but it has to sit at 50. So the Z height for that, so we'll go back here. It's going to be 2, the thickness of our front plate, but the Z height will be 49, 1 less than 50. Okay, and then for Davis, now we're going to make this, I think in this case, how do I want to do this? I think in this case, we are going to make everything print flush. All right, so the Davis lumber and lines are all 1 millimeter thick, and we want it to be flush at 50. So the Z height on all these, boom, 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 okay? The Z height on all these needs to be 49.5. Okay, and then all of that will print just beautifully. Okay, so I believe, what do we got going on here? Something is not in its right place. Where is it? Our back plate, yes, that has to be at 1, folks. All right, and then our sides are good. Flange is good. Front plate is good. Davis, all that's good. All right, everything else is copacetic, is where it's supposed to be. Let's go ahead and slice it just the way it is. Now, we're not printing this way. We're just going to slice it this way real quick because I just want you to get a visual of what it looks like real quick. Ta-da! How awesome is that, right? That's going to look really good. So we're going to be really pleased with that. All right. So now let's talk about setting it up for print, okay? So here's what I do. Let's do this. Let's create a new build plate, and we're going to copy and paste to the new build plate. And this one here on the Davis and the lumber and lines, I am going to change the Z height. I'm going to cheat it, and we're just going to set it at 50. Okay. Now, the only reason we're doing that is because I want to be able to rotate this like this. Okay. And I want to see my text. Okay. You see over here when everything's flush, the reason that this looks the way it does is because we have conflicting meshes. Our white Davis text is a mesh, and it's conflicting with our black mesh. But that's because everything's on the same plane, because that's how we want to print it. So just to get a visual for the website, whatever the case might be, you see that ugly prime tower? Well, we can get rid of it if we go to the globals and go to advanced here, and then you'll see others. Prime tower, goodbye. Okay, we can get rid of our prime tower. And so you can get a screenshot like that. That's usually what I do for the website or for your customer or whatever. You can get a visual of what it's going to look like from every angle. All right. And so that's why we pushed it out just a little bit. All right. But we're not printing this plate. It's just for looks. All right. So now let's go ahead and add a couple more build plates. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and copy it and paste it. And maybe one more. I don't think we're going to need that many, but at any rate, what we want to do is start deleting the parts that we know we don't need. So we'll go back over here to the Objects tab. So I selected this assembly. I know I want my back plate and my flange, but I don't want my sides or my front plate, Davis, lumber, and lines. Goodbye. Okay? So on my first plate, I'm just printing the flange and the back plate. That's it. Okay, so on this one, guess what? On this one, we know we don't need our back plate or our flange, so we can get rid of those two. Now everything else, yes, we do need everything else, but we're going to flip it over. This is going to print face down, just like that. Okay, and we'll go ahead and right click and center it. We'll go ahead and actually we could probably print both of these on one build plate. This one I think is actually big enough where we could do that. Actually, let's not do that because I don't think we'd have room for our prime tower then. All right, so yep, that's it. Just those two pieces. That's all we need. Now, good idea. So this is our back cover. It's going to cover our light box, and this is going to have a nice deep flange. Okay, so it's going to fit in there just perfect. But what we should do over here is we should go ahead and cut a hole for our LED strip. So to do that, we're just going to right click and choose add primitive, and we're going to add a primitive cube. And usually what I do is I go ahead and scale this. I like to do them 13. Okay. There's different size. Um, there's different size LED strips. I believe mine are 6 millimeter, the ones I usually use. So I would go ahead and make this 10. Okay, and then I usually make this like 6, something like that. And then that way I can get the LEDs in there nice and easy, and the power cord and whatnot. Okay, so then I can select this, and then I can go ahead and control click this, and then we can do a Boolean. Okay, so we'll do a subtraction Boolean where we're going to subtract the cube from our other piece here. We'll go ahead and execute, and you can see that we have a hole, but look, we don't actually have a hole. It didn't cut all the way through, and that's annoying. Okay, but it happens sometimes. So what do we have to do? Well, let's do this. So shift select those items. Okay, so if we look here, see what we got selected. We just have the cube selected, apparently. So let's go ahead and, oh, I guess we do have it all. Let's go ahead and merge it together. Okay, and then we'll all click just the cube, and we'll push it down a little bit in the Z. Okay, so now when we do our mesh boolean, watch what happens. We'll go ahead and push that over, this over. We just need our cube. And when we execute, you see what we got? We got a nice clean hole now. So that's all we needed. So that's it. Our light box is now complete. So let's go ahead and hit Control S. Go to the desktop here, and we'll save this as a new STL 3D Davis Lightbox. There you go. That's how you do it manually here inside Inkscape and Bambu Studio. But you can see, once you know what you're doing, there's nothing painful about anything that we just did, and we can generate our 3D models very, very quickly and easily. So I hope that inspires you to learn more about Inkscape and what you can do in Inkscape and Bambu Studio. And definitely, we do have a new Patreon that I just started where I'm going to be releasing lots more videos on Inkscape, on Bambu Studio, and other 3D modeling software as well, because Inkscape does have its limitations. We can't create every 3D model inside Inkscape, but there's so much that we can do. And we really should master Inkscape, master our slicer before we even consider looking at any other type of 3D modeling software. So, at any rate, I hope you enjoyed this one. And until next time, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or need one-on-one training or some custom files made for you, this is my contact information, so feel free to reach out via email. You can text me. You could even give me a call. I'd be happy to answer questions or give you more details on the one-on-one training we offer, and as well as if you need custom files made until you are up to speed on how to make them yourself, feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to help you with that as well.